everyone, welcome to Wicked West Books. My name is Meg West.
I'm Lee.
And today we are going to be talking about The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. We do have the special edition Secret Projects one. We are not buying his latest secret project because these cost an arm and a leg. But that's kind of our own fault because we wanted the audiobook and the physical copy. So we made that choice. Very, very pretty special editions, and I'm glad to have them. So with this book, I played Bookish Bingo for the Magical Readathon, and I think I did get bingo on it. We're going to pop it up right here so you can see if I got bingo or not. I think I did technically get bingo, but I was really hoping for blackout bingo, and I definitely did not. For this time, we only read together once.
Yeah, it was only once.
And then we got real busy, so we listened to the rest of the book all by our lonesomes. The Sunlit Man is the fourth secret project. It kind of comes between the current books that are out for the Stormlight Archives and Book 5, which comes out in December. I do not remember enough of Book 4 to think that we're going to have any kind of difference on our discussion for this book today, honestly.
Yeah, I think I've only read through book 3.
I think so. I think you're missing just book 4, but
I need to reread the entire series just to be safe.
Yeah, I plan on doing that probably in November. So The Sunlit Man is about a man named Nomad who is running from the Night Brigade, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're called. And it's Kashmir, so it is a solar system. Each different book series takes place on a different planet. The different planets have different magics. And this guy, we're kind of unsure at the very beginning where he comes from. Turns out it's from Roshar, and he has been hopping and skipping from planet to planet trying to escape the Night Brigade. Not sure why. It's not explained in this book. It might have been explained in book 4, but I don't remember it if it was.
Well, I know there was that little short story between 3 and 4 that I found. I have it on Audible for us now. So, and since the title is Dawnstone, I'm pretty sure it's probably heavily tied into this one.
Probably is, and I have not read that definitely, but
yeah,
it is marked as 3.5 or 4.5 in the Stormlight Archives on Goodreads.
Nice.
So I ended up giving this book a 4.5 star rating.
I think I have the same for it.
You did also 4.5?
Yep.
So let's pull out the CAWPILE and we go into it. So, yeah, it looks like you also gave it a 4.5 star rating. So I had yours open first. You gave the characters a 9.
I liked them all pretty well.
I gave the characters an 8.
Really?
Other than Nomad himself, I wasn't super interested in all of the characters.
Well, I mean, it was Nomad, and the girl's name is escaping me right now.
Elegy was the sister who had the stone put in. Like Rebecca's, right? Yeah, Rebecca. And Rebecca and Elegy and basically the Fates.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they were. They had their moments. I liked that they had like an interesting way of phrasing things, but overall, not my favorite characters.
I mean, I can see it.
Elegy was probably my favorite. I liked Nomad quite a bit, though.
You see, I liked Nomad better. Actually, I liked Ox quite a bit.
Yes. Ox was the best.
Yep. Ox was the best character in it, which is kind of sad.
So I gave the atmosphere a 10. Do you remember off the top of your head?
I think I gave it an 8. I kept on going back and forth between.
I mean, it's a Brandon Sanderson world.
Yeah, but it's basically just the world off Riddick.
Is it? I wouldn't know.
Oh, yeah, Chronicles of Riddick, they get sent to a prison planet where it's dark on one side, the other side is just melting rock hot. And it's just like that. That's how they keep the prisoners on there because they can't outrun the sun.
Interesting.
Yep. But that's what popped into my head. I'm like, it's a cool idea, but it's been done. So I had to give it a 9 for that.
I think that's fair. I'm kind of surprised you didn't rate it lower in that case.
He did it really well, so
You gave the writing a 10, and I'm fairly certain that I did too.
It's Sanderson. I mean,
It's Sanderson, exactly.
even if it's something subpar for him, it's still at least a 9, probably.
Yep, and it's still very, very good writing. Plot, I ended up on an 8.
I think I did too.
The plot was okay. It was very much more character driven than plot driven.
Yeah, I mean, so the plot for the book initially is just he wants to get off the planet.
You just run as fast as you can so that you don't catch me.
Yeah.
He's a gingerbread man.
Basically. He's even getting baked at points.
He is. He does. Yes, most definitely.
But yeah, it's more character driven on the plot because
Yeah.
it does change over time with his growth.
Mm-hmm. It's based on where the book is going is based a lot on where his mind space is.
Yep.
And at the very beginning, it is just get away, keep living, even if it's not a life worth living.
Yeah.
And then finding someone new to care about changes.
Yeah.
How it goes. Intrigue, I gave it a 9. You gave the intrigue an 8.
Because I mean it was good, but there were just some points in it where it didn't just catch in after where you wanted to keep going, I felt like.
I mean, after the first time we picked it up together, I did read it straight through and was very thrilled to be in a Sanderson world again.
You see, I think I OD'd on Sanderson for a while because I have a hard time doing any high fantasy now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the only ones that I want to read all the way through are like the Mistborn books and those, because it's a different take, especially the Watson Wayne ones, because that's almost Wild West and I kind of like westerns, so it suits me really well.
I think the next one's going to be more sci-fi.
Yeah,
That's what it seems like.
Judging from what they did.
Considering that Alamancers, the people from that world, showed up in this book.
Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering how that's going to be. Are we going to have not Star Wars Alamancy, but maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. That would be real interesting if that is where it ends up going. I'm ready to see where that world goes.
I'm just gonna
It's my favorite of all of the magic systems that Sanderson has devised anyway.
Yeah. I'm just gonna miss Watts quite a bit.
Yeah. And Wayne. I loved Wayne.
Wayne did his thing. Oh.
I know. But yeah, I didn't want to put it down.
I mean, it's just my thing with high fantasy right now. I'm having issues with it. I've had a bit of a reading slump in it for the past 2 years.
So long as it's not all I'm reading, I can keep reading it.
I think it's because it was all I was reading there for a while, was high fantasy stuff.
You want to pick up the buddy?
Sure.
It's a buddy.
Yep. Say hi to the camera.
Buddy. Good buddy.
He is a good boy.
Good buddy. He's confused on why he's being picked up, but he's also kind of happy about it. So, logic, I gave it a 10.
I gave it a 9.
What stood out to you as being not quite full logic?
So it was probably just the way the timing worked in the book, but it seemed like
it was supposed to be super fast paced, but it wasn't quite written that fast paced. Like the writing didn't give that.
You see, I had the opposite effect, to where it seemed like everything was happening really quick, but apparently these vast amounts of time were taking place. Or, not vast amounts, but it was a lot more time than I think he was able to actually show.
Maybe. I mean, a lot of it was, for when there were, times that were going through, he was just doing math problems, and you don't really want to read every issue he's going through to do the math problems.
No, but I mean, just in general, it was hard to get a feel for how long it was actually taking in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So the pacing just kind of felt off, which threw logic issues my way.
And then we both gave it an 8 for enjoyment.
Like I said, I've just been in a slump.
Sanderson, so it's going to be great, but it's Sanderson. He has a level that he stays at.
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to get. I mean, there are definitely varying degrees, but to me, Alloy of Law is still my favorite Sanderson book ever.
Now, this was an interesting thing because I posed this question a couple of times: who would win, a Mistborn or a Shardbearer?
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of getting to that point now to where it's you're starting to see little conflicts at least.
Kind of, sort of, but again, we know from the Alloy of Law series that the amount of power that Allomancers have is dwindling. There are no full-blooded Mistborns anymore.
No, we know that, but I wouldn't be surprised if something popped up, maybe a genetic throwback, because that's how sometimes evolution works. So
I hope so. That would make things more interesting.
That's
I mean, we know that they definitely still have Allomantic powers because they showed up in this book. There were some Allomancers, and they did use a little bit of Allomancy.
Well, I mean, this is off topic, but in the Wax and Wing series, weren't they trying to breed Allomancers at one point?
They were.
So they're trying to get back to that point. So it's quite possible it could spring back up just by chance, even.
Yeah, it could. And I don't think I can't see, even if that particular way that they were trying to breed back Allomancy, I can't see that stopping, just being like maybe more secretive or maybe more long term.
But it's very likely if they're developing sciences.
I mean,
something
it
could happen.
Very well get to the point where they get back to being Mistborn.
If that happens, then pretty much I don't think there's a magic system that could match them. Maybe the breath system from Warbreaker.
I just know that I think November will be like a Sanderson reread for me, and I think I might reread the entire Kashmir. Who knows?
Good luck.
Depends on how I feel when we actually get to that point.
We'll have to get you the White Sands books too, then.
Honestly, yeah, I would love to expand by Another World. I think, is Yumi a Kashmir book?
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember.
Because I know that the Wizarding Handbook, Wizard's Guidebook to Being Frugal or something.
I haven't read those two yet.
No, I haven't either, but I know that one is not Kashmir.
I think Yumi is... I would have to look at an interview and see.
I think we're far enough into the video that we can talk about Nomad's true identity.
Go for it. I keep on forgetting the names.
Zigzil.
Zigzil.
His name is Zigzil. He is Zigzil from the I'm staring at it. Help.
Way of Kings.
From the Way of Kings book, but
Stormlight.
That's what I wanted. Stormlight Archive. It's Zigzil. And now I really do want to reread the Stormlight Archives one. Read the Roshar books because I want to keep a better eye on Zigzil. Because he's kind of a not important character in Way of Kings.
Well, I mean, that happens with a lot of characters, though. They're not important until they're...
important.
Yeah.
But he is the... You find out in, like, the first book, he is the one that was, like, being trained by Wit, though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, he used to be, and then he got himself put into the slave quarters and got on Bridge 4.
Yeah, I think something like that happened.
And Wit's like, tell my apprentice that he's doing a good job and he can stay right where he is. And to an extent, they discuss at the end of the book that Wit did that to him. Wit made the events happen that put him on the run.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you listen to the afterwards, it wasn't supposed to be him necessarily. It was supposed to either be Wit or...
Were you thinking of Shalon?
Yeah, Shalon. It was supposed to be one of those two. It was supposed to be in Nomad's place.
Mm.
That's how it was supposed. That's how he envisioned it originally. But he was like, that really doesn't work. So he went in a different direction.
I mean, I liked Zigzil, but he wasn't, like, super important to the overall story so far as I remember, anyway.
I mean, yeah, the name stands out, but I don't think he had He had stuff to do, but he wasn't, like, a featured character.
He stands out because he was Wit's apprentice.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
The saddest point in the book for me
Same.
is Ox.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if he was suicidal at points. Like, he just wanted to not exist because he wasn't full or whole anymore.
He may have been, but I think he also just wanted to stay with Zigzil. I think that was a close enough friendship that he wanted to keep that. or else he wouldn't have kept it. But I was really hoping for some kind of like redemption, back to life kind of thing to be possible.
I thought they were gonna do it too because he started.
They got really close.
Yeah, he started like
really close.
or bringing stuff back out. It seemed like he was just starting to gain some of his old personality, and I was like, are they actually gonna resurrect it?
I really wish they had gone in that direction instead.
It would have been interesting, but I wonder what that would have done to the whole universe.
No clue.
Because that could have changed a lot of things, like the Shard Blades could potentially come back to life.
Not necessarily, they wouldn't have to be. It could have been that it was the original Oath Taker going back to his oaths. And you can't do that if the Oath Taker is dead.
True, but also the Spren itself at that point, since now he's officially dead, will another Spren join with him, or what will happen? That's the question. And it seems like he started to reignite his oaths, or basically rekindle them. So I'm like, is he gonna actually get to be a full-blown knight again, or?
Unless he finds a Spren that's willing to join with him again, I can't see that happening. And honestly, unless the Spren is just weird, I don't think so. Because the Sprens will see that he broke his oath and killed one Spren, and they don't. I can't see most of them wanting to give him a second chance.
I don't think he broke his oath intentionally, though. It was
probably not, but he still broke it. He still killed a Spren.
Yeah, but he's kind of started that oath back with his past actions at this point.
And that's why I really thought that he might have gotten, because he wasn't dead. He was just mostly dead, as the Princess Bride would say.
Yeah.
Just mostly dead. And if you're mostly dead, you're partially alive.
Yeah, that would have been a cool thing to have happen.
It would have been, especially since Tress is the Princess Bride as a story.
But now that Sidsul is actually dealing with so many different types of magic, I could honestly see him picking up different aspects, almost like Wit's doing right now.
He very well could follow in Wit's footsteps, and that is probably the most logical direction for him to go in.
Which, I mean, could be interesting because Wit is basically chaos. We don't know if he's going to swing good or bad.
I love him.
I know you do, and I understand why you do, but he has...
It's because he is chaos. He is an extreme unknown in this situation. We know that he will be in every book. I could have basically used him for my free space on my bingo card because we know that Wit will be there.
I'm just kind of curious if he goes evil, Zitzel would be probably the logical one to challenge him.
To go against.
Yeah, or vice versa. I don't think Zitzel's going to go evil.
No.
But if something like that happens...
Zitzel is much closer to his past where he cared about other people than Wit is.
Yeah, so...
And I don't even know that Wit's background was that he cared about people. It hasn't been explained, to my remembrance anyway, it hasn't been explained that Wit started off as like a good person and is doing this for good reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's doing this more for personal power or personal gain reasons.
That's why I think he could go
way
dark
more
side
like
really
chaotic
quick.
neutral.
Yeah. Still really reminded me of
Sazed?
Yeah, he reminds me of Sazed quite a bit.
I love Sazed.
With the logic he's going through the magical processes with.
I love Sazed so much.
Which makes me think he's going to end up gaining, like, at least a small mastery over everything.
You know who I want to see traveling?
Who?
Tensoon. I want to see Tensoon on another planet.
Well, we know that Wayne's girlfriend's on a different planet.
Yeah, Milan.
I would have liked to see her in this book. That would have been cool.
Khandra was a space that I really thought I would be able to fill on this bingo card.
Well,
I really thought I would.
Because, well, I mean, it makes sense they wouldn't want to go to that planet because fire and acid kill them.
This is true.
So I can understand one of them not wanting to be there.
I guess that's true.
It's quite possible that the Khandra were there, though.
If they were, we wouldn't have even known.
Yeah, it was just Scadrians, and I guess Khandra would technically be Scadrians.
They would, but I don't think they did. They retreated from mankind. They didn't.
They're still part of that world, though.
Yes, they
and they still kind of watch. So there could have been one on that research ship.
There could have been, but there was
we
no
wouldn't.
concrete.
Yeah, we couldn't tell for sure.
Short of them flashing eyes or something, there's no way to tell.
I'm wondering if they went through and actually hemalurgy. I wonder if hemalurgy is still frowned upon.
Oh, probably.
I don't know if they would become more accepting of it or not.
I don't think that would have as much power. So if we go on the assumption that the people of Scadrial continued to lose their ability to allomancy, they continue along that, hemalurgy is also going to greatly diminish because the amount of hemalurgy that you get out of that magical transaction is dependent on the power and ability of the person that is sacrificed in. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they'll have someone like Pinhead eventually where there's just hundreds of spites in them.
Maybe.
If they can hold that many, that's the other question.
They do have to be in specific places.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's just like pens or something you shove through somebody.
I mean, you could do it that way. We know that it works off of veneering.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all possible, basically.
It is.
Do you think he'll ever try to go back to that planet? Well, I mean, he makes the statement he won't, but do you think he might?
Back to the Sunlit planet? Probably not.
I wasn't sure.
I was really hoping for a more intimate connection between him and Rebecca.
I think that was on the cusp of happening.
It was. She offered.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll go back there. I do think he will end up back on Roshar.
The other thing, now that he has gained the power of Rebecca's people, basically, is he going to become a shade whenever he dies?
I could see that happening, honestly.
And is he basically, since he can charge things now with his, well, he could already charge things, but he has a way to assimilate that kind of power, he could become a very, very powerful individual very quickly if they needed him to, since they're able to share power. I mean, depending on how time is there, since it moves faster.
I don't think that time moves faster. I just think that because it's a smaller planet with a smaller circulation around the sun, they have shorter times. It's not a matter of time being distorted. It's a matter of it takes the planet less time to do things.
You're right. I'm just like, he could gain a lot of power just from the people there on his own. So I think there could be like 3 or 4 really powerful individuals. So you got Wit.
Of course, naturally.
You got him. Nomad.
Nomad, yeah.
You got the king from Warbringer. Well, both the kings from Warbringer.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna take a guess at your 4th one, Kelsier.
Yes. Well, I mean, he's practically a god at this point. He hasn't quite got himself back together, but he could very easily come back.
He is full on Kelsiering his way forward.
Those 4 or 5, I guess, are probably the most powerful people in the universe there. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a few because I haven't read all the books.
Short of the shards of Ad Nauseam.
Yeah, which, I mean, a couple of them could probably get close to rivaling them pretty quick.
I mean, considering that, like, what is it? Harmony
and Ruin
yeah, got combined into one god, and they're the exact opposite, so it's hard to fight to keep that balance between them so that one doesn't overwhelm the other. But the more gods that combine, the closer back to Ad Nauseam they get.
So I wonder if that's what's going to happen. There could be only one. They start just hunting each other, and they got the star travel now, so it's quite possible they could go into other worlds and dealing with it.
I am ready for Sanderson to put out the Hoyd book.
You think he's going to?
I don't think he's going to, like, right now, but I know that he is wanting, because that was in the afterwards for Tress, was that he wanted Hoyd to have his own story. Hoyd is up to something, and it deserves an entire storyline. And Tress was a starting point to write in Hoyd's voice, one of Hoyd's voices. Obviously, that's not going to be his main voice in the series. He's a lot better adapted than he was in Tress. Yeah. Although I loved that curse on him in Tress.
I kind of want to know where he was whenever he started doing the psychic communication. in this book. I want to know what planet he was on to deal with that.
Hoyd, where are you? Tell us your story. We want to know. The public wants to know.
No, I'm really impressed with a book that wasn't. It's Sanderson, so he's going to write it well no matter what. But it seems like it was.
It's not like part of. I mean, it is part of a series, but it's also kind of a standalone in the Kashmir.
Yeah, if we get a full series,
finding out that his
awesome.
finding out that his name is Zigzal at the end of it doesn't mean anything if you haven't read any of the Rosharan books.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably you know what? I would actually read a full series about this character.
Nomad?
Yeah. And just him being on the run like he is. That could be really cool.
Honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if Brandon Sanderson comes back to Nomad and writes another book from his point of view.
I mean, I would be happy like a full, not giant book series, but something about the size of Mistborn or something like 6 books of just him traveling. Mm-hmm. That way you kind of get to see all the worlds he's already written about, but a little bit in the future or something like that. That could be really fun.
It would be an interesting... Well, I think Wit would work better as a recap story of everything that goes on.
Maybe.
Wit's story would probably be, at least like the first half, is like a recap. It's like, hey, I went to Roshar, I went to Scaladriel, I went to, wherever else. And now, here I am in chaos. Oh.
I want to know how that black sword got on Roshar.
Yes, that is a question that I definitely also want the answer.
Is it the same black sword, or is it a different black sword?
It's gonna be the same sword.
Okay, I just don't think that means that character must be, or Warbringer has to be dead then. Because I don't really see him giving up that sword.
He wouldn't, but also I'm wondering just how distorted from each other the Kashmir books are on the timeline. Because I think, if you look at Galadriel, you got the Mistborn books, which is past era, and then I think I think that is now also like a more past tense, because they were calling. Well, we know because of this book, we know that the existence of Zigzal and Wit and Kaladin is at the same time as future era Mistborn.
Yeah. So we know that Wit has to be several thousand years old.
I mean, we already kind of knew that. I think he was around during Ad Nauseam.
Fair.
He was there for whatever events splintered Ad Nauseam into a million pieces.
I'm just waiting for his friend to try
to
tie itself to him.
Come here, you. It's probably why he's hanging out on Roshar, is to try and get his friend attached to him.
That's a little sad.
It is. But it's Hoyt.
Can you imagine Hoyt with his friend? They would drive each other insane.
Puzzle.
Yeah. Something like Puzzle would fit Hoyt really well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just worried he gets like a sky sprint or something like that and turns into a wind.
See, the other problem is that Hoyt has his own set of rules. I don't know that those set of rules would align with his friends. With the oaths that he would have to take to get his friend. Yeah. I'm not sure that he would want to make any of those kind of oaths.
I don't know. I think
I think if he makes the oath, he's going to hold himself to the oath.
Yeah, and I think it's possible for a fuse friend. We don't know all the oaths yet,
this is true.
There could be something he could tie to. I mean, it might not be anything good. It might be something that's like, oh God, he's going to kill us all now.
It's your turn to introduce.
So this next month we're going to be reading Slayer, a Buffyverse story. It's an Audible exclusive, and it's voiced by most of the original actors and everything. So yeah. It's pretty much, most of it's actually told from his point of view, I think. So
it's Spike Central?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me it was Spike Central.
Yeah, it's Spike-centric.
I love Spike.
I know you do.
I love Spike.
You love that voice, or you love James Marsters too.
It's not. I mean, it's not him. It's Spike. It is that character. I love him.
Well, you'll start wars with people because people either love him or hate him. He's Marmite.
Blech to Marmite.
Yeah.
But Spike.
Nah, it sounds pretty good. I've listened to about.
It didn't
an
say
hour
he
of it.
was the most attractive person, but I love him.
I like the actor.
The actor's good too.
No, I mean, I
But I
think
mean,
he
the
really. He's one of the few actors on that show that fully committed to the character, I feel like.
He did such a good job.
Him and Drusilla are probably the two best
Oh.
characters.
Love Drusilla as a character. Does it have an author?
I do
Or
not
is it written
know.
by multiple people?
I got my phone right here. I can find out.
Yes, please.
Christopher Golden, which is a good one, and Amber Benson.
Christopher Golden sounds like one of the show writers.
Let me look real quick. Oh, no, he did.
Yeah, he was Buffy writer. For the show. And I would imagine that Amber was too.
Probably. I think he wrote the comic books, honestly. Hold up, I'm gonna do Halloween Reign and see what it. No, he did the novels for it. They're done with the books. Yeah, she was a character.
Who was she?
Tara.
Ah.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. We normally don't do like fully voice acted books.
You don't?
And I think this one's actually more like a radio play than a book. So that's gonna be fun. It'll be something
You
different.
think you haven't listened to some of it already?
I've listened to about the first chapter of it.
I thought you got further.
I think I was planning on it. I didn't quite do it.
So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Are you laughing at me doing YouTubey things?
Yes.
If you have anything you want to say against my husband and his opinions on things, please leave that down below.
Same for her.
Disagree with him.
Disagree
good
with her
for him.
sometimes.
It's good for him.
I agree with her all the time. She needs outside help.
I will be posting my final vlog for Aurelium on Friday, and then we'll do a wrap up next week and on Wednesday on my normal posting day, and then hopefully my schedule will stabilize somewhat and I can go back to a regular posting schedule.
Be nice.
We shall make it work.
Yep.
Have a wicked day.
Bye.